How's it going, everybody? It is Charlie, and welcome back to another live stream on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. It is time for the last say as we delve into and as we discuss last night's 3-1 victory over Hull City in the Easter Monday Yorkshire Derby. Just before we get into tonight's stream in more detail, make sure that you are smashing that like button. Really does help get the stream out there to more people. Please subscribe to the channel if you are brand new as well, and hit the notification bell, and of course get all your thoughts and opinions into the comment section down below, and make sure that you are checking out Josh Firth's links as well, the sponsor of the channel. His Etsy store and Instagram links are in the description down below for all your football graphic design needs. So yeah, as I said, guys, we're here to discuss last night's victory over Hull City, which puts Leeds United now second place after Ipswich's very, very annoying late winner against Southampton in the game before us last night. But, I think that game pretty much means that Southampton are out of this race now. And it is literally, Ipswich, us and Leicester all fighting for those top two places. It's actually insane that one of the teams, whether it's us, Leicester or Ipswich, is going to miss out on it. Which team that is, I'm not 100% sure at this stage. However, I do feel like Leeds United will get automatic promotion. I just think it's going to go right down to the wire. Julie's in the building, as always, evening. What a match, don't they put you through it, but they never give up these days. Yeah, it is a massive 3 points, and, I'm sure we'll get into the level of performance as we go through the stream, guys, but like the title of the video suggests, I do think the 3 points last night massively papers over some cracks, but we'll be getting into that in just a second. But yeah, let's just start off with the lineup then. When the lineup came out, it was as expected. I expected Liam Cooper to be dropped after his dreadful performance against Watford on Good Friday. And, I expected it to be a midfield of Gray and Kamara, with obviously Byram on the right side of the defence, Road on Ampadu, and then Firpo. And obviously Dan James, Rutter, Somerville and Bamford completed the lineup. And yeah, look, I was happy with that lineup. As I said, I fully expected Daniel Farker to go with that based on the performance of the team that he put out on Friday. And Leeds United did start off quite good in the game last night. They did. Opening 10 minutes, we get a goal through Sam Byram. We've seen nice little bit of play from Cree Somerville down that left-hand side. Forces a decent save from Allsop in goal. And then obviously Sam Byram follows up with, well, what I thought was a header, but on the replay you can see it actually just hits him in the face pretty much, and finds its way into the back of the net. And look, I said it on my match day morning show yesterday that if Leeds could get an early goal, it would help set the pace, it would help set the tone for the rest of the game. And I was hoping that would be the case, but we actually massively backtracked after going 1-0 up, and we kind of sat back a little bit, it seemed. And Hull just had all of the ball in that first half. Yeah, it was very bizarre to see Leeds United get so outpossessed in a first half. I think at one point I heard that the percentage of possession for Leeds United was about 34, which is probably one of the lowest it's been at Elland Road this season. I think even against Leicester that night at Elland Road, we didn't have that little of the ball. And it was very frustrating to watch. Again, I said it on the morning show yesterday that there were going to be elements of the game that were not enjoyable. I'd say a good 80% of that game last night was not enjoyable. I thought Leeds were slow in attack. I thought the passing was sloppy again. I thought we were slow getting forward. Obviously, it came out after the game that Glenn Kamara was playing through illness, and it makes a lot of sense because I thought Kamara was awful last night. Just losing the ball constantly, getting dispossessed, not really getting involved in tackles, not trying to, prevent attacks from Hull. Thought Archie Gray looked a little bit exposed as well. It was Archie that was kind of playing as the deep line midfielder, which just does not suit him at all. He he's more of a box-to-box midfielder rather than a designated number 6, like what a Gruev does, for example. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see how long Gruev is out for, and whether he'll actually be back fit for Coventry on Saturday. Hopefully he is. But I just thought the balance in that midfield was just completely off. And I thought Hull absolutely ran the midfield and ran the show in that first half, and obviously rightly and deservedly equalised through Fabio Carvalho, who I thought, other than scoring, didn't actually have that much of an impact on the game. It was Seri, I think Morton in midfield as well. Coyle had a good game at the back as well. And obviously, Philogene was decent as well. But obviously, their goal actually massively annoyed me. The fact that the lad that ended up setting it up for Carvalho was able to get past 3 of our players at ease. No challenges. No one trying to get in front of the ball. No one trying to block it. It's a simple ball into the box for Fabio Carvalho to latch onto. And I must admit, guys, going in at half-time, I was very, very frustrated. And I'll be honest, I was dreading it going out in that second half. I thought we were going to lose the game at half-time. We looked really nervy. The balance in the midfield, well, there wasn't a midfield. They were just cutting through us at ease. Very frustrating to watch, especially going forward. Obviously, Pat Bamford misses that sitter. Kind of bounced just in front of him. I don't know if that's been nice. He should score it 100%. Should definitely score it. But yeah, I just felt all over the pitch. It was just off in that first half. There was no balance. There was no cohesion. There was no, it felt like nobody knew who they were meant to be marking. Nobody knew what their job was. And that's why I feel like Hull were able to control that midfield area. Like you say, if you win the midfield battle, you win the game. It's where games are won and lost, in that midfield. So yeah, those are my thoughts obviously on the first half. I thought Hull deservedly equalised, and I felt that Hull were by far the better team in that first half. So mate, how are we doing? Peacock White Civilian. Say hi, mate. How we doing? Hope all is well, everyone. Yeah, hope all is well. 16 of you in the building, guys, as well. I really do appreciate all of the support. If you wouldn't mind smashing a like if you haven't already as well, and keep getting your comments in. Not seeing us get dominated like that first time of this season, even though yeah, which I was saying this with a lad at work actually today, that I felt Hull were, that I think Hull will definitely feel like that they should have won that game with the amount of possession that they had. But like you've correctly said there, DFG, they didn't really do much with it. And again, it's all hindsight when you look back on it now. But as it was happening in the ground, you felt like Hull were just all over us and they were peppering us. But then when you watch the highlights, other than their goal, and I think they had maybe 2 efforts in the second half, which went just wide, they only actually had 2 shots on target in the whole game. I believe Leeds had about 6. So when you look at it in a stats point of view, Leeds were slightly the better team in some areas. Obviously, I think the possession Hull had more overall. But yeah, like you say, I haven't seen us get dominated like that in possession for a very long time. Looked outnumbered in midfield, possibly due to Carabino and Archer, possibly. Yeah, exactly. And obviously, Archer isn't a deep line midfielder. He's more of a box-to-box player, isn't he? For the first half, I think the word you're looking for is... Yeah, dreadful, woeful, shambolic, all of the above. I thought it was awful, that first half. It was so hard to watch, especially being there as well. It was horrible. Good mate, yeah. Thought Firth was very good, especially considering his... Yeah, I mean, he always gets a booking, doesn't he? But, I thought the ref was poor on some challenges. He booked Firth for his, but then there was others that were similar that weren't getting carded. And But that's just the same in any championship game, isn't it? But moving on into the second half, I'll be honest, guys, up until about 70, 75 minutes, I still thought Hull were all over us. But like DFG's correctly said, they weren't doing anything with the ball. And obviously in the second half, Hull were attacking my end of the pitch. So it was kind of easier to see what they were trying to do. And it just felt like that they were trying to cut through the middle because there was just no midfield. But obviously failing that, they would pretty much try and get the ball into Philogene out wide to hopefully get some crosses into the box. But the advantage for us is that we had height advantage over the likes of Fabio Carvalho, Tyler Morton. These players are not tall, big built centre forwards. I know Carvalho was playing in that number 9 role, but it was more like a false 9 that he was playing as he would drift further back to try and get the ball. But I felt Leeds were able to handle them a bit better in the second half, albeit they still had a lot of the ball. But there was elements to it in the second half which were better. Leeds were getting on the ball a bit more. We were starting to actually put good attacks together. But I felt the real talking point, or the real game changer, sorry, should I say, was when Mateo Joseph came onto the pitch. Now, I know there's certain sections of the fan base who think we shouldn't be getting on top of Patrick Bamford, giving him stick. And yeah, since Bamford's come back into the team on New Year's Day, he has been very good. Scored a lot of goals. All-round play's been a lot better. He's growing in confidence. But I do feel like probably Millwall and obviously Friday and last night, I think he's been poor. Not really involved. Quiet. Soft. Not really getting involved in tackles. I don't think he won one aerial duel last night. Don't think he held the ball up correctly once. Maybe once at the very most. And I just feel like when Mateo Joseph came on, he's got a bit more about him. He's quicker, so he can play balls in behind for him to run onto. Very rarely offside. Within about a minute of him being on, he's put one on Coyle at the back, put him on his ass. Don't think Bamford did that once all night. And I just think, Joseph came on against Watford, scored after 30 seconds. He scored the 2 goals against Chelsea in the Cup. The substitute appearances that he's having have been impactful. He almost scored last night, but he hit the post. I feel like Mateo Joseph deserves a start now, guys, and I'm interested to see what you all think on that. But I wouldn't be annoyed if Bamford was dropped for Coventry and Mateo Joseph was put in. I actually think Perot had a decent game last night when he came on as well. I just feel like Bamford may need just a game out, and you either put Perot in if you want more experience, or give Mateo Joseph a run out. Just give him 60, 70 minutes of a game. Give him plenty of time to have an impact, because the times you're bringing him on with like 10, 15 minutes left, you've not got a lot of time to make an impact. I know he did against Watford, fair play. But, if you take that out of it, it isn't getting a lot of time. And I feel like even if you just give him 60 minutes, I feel like he could have a positive impact. We are becoming a bit predictable in terms of our lineup now. I feel like certain areas of the pitch should be the same. Don't get me wrong, like the back 4, maybe the double pivot as well. But in the attacking areas, we need to change it up. I get there's Nonto out injured and stuff like that at the minute, but give Anthony a go. Start Perot one game, bring Mateo Joseph in, and make teams question themselves that are coming up against us. Because let's be honest, Coventry, when they are preparing for us, they'll know what our lineup's going to be, and they'll know how to handle it, or they'll be working on ways to handle it. But if there's a bit of doubt on who's going to start for Leeds, etc., it'll just play on their minds and it'll make them prepare for different things, which could work in our favour. Do you know what I mean? Nice cup of tea. But yeah, I think Mateo Joseph deserves a start, in my opinion. Peacock White says, first half was crap. I think we need to focus more. Yep, 100%. Ref was probably one of the better ones, but probably because Hull didn't. Yeah, exactly. Hull actually came to play football, which I expected them to. And, fair play to the referee and the Hull players, Hull staff, and the Hull fans, obviously, for getting involved in that minutes. Applause for Chris and Kev. Obviously, the anniversary of their death is coming up this week. It was a nice moment, actually. All of the Hull fans actually clapped it, and they did get involved when we all turned our backs on the 24th minute, which, really, really good to see that, that rivalries can be put aside for more important things. We got the goals with luck, to be fair. I think the penalty was a definite penalty, which we'll come on to in a second. And obviously, the James goal at the end, you could maybe argue, but yeah, we're really missing certain players due to injury whatsoever. Yeah, exactly. We looked massively, affected by those injured players not being involved 100%. Yeah, definitely. I don't think Mateo should start. Fully is a great game changer. Yeah, which I feel like that's the only reason why we're not seeing him from the start at the minute, because that is the benefit of having him on the bench, is that you can bring him on and he can, once defenses are tired, he can tire them out even more. I just feel like we need to see him from the start, but it's a tough one, isn't it? Because I do agree with you there. I do. And we've got 6 games left now. So is Farker gonna risk changing the team too much in a running like this? Probably not. So we probably are still gonna just see him come on as an impact sub. But to be honest, if he doesn't start and he's an impact sub, I'm okay with that because of the impacts that he's been having. But obviously, the second goal obviously comes from a penalty. Somerville, for the first time in the game, actually taking a risk and just running at Slater at the back. Obviously, Slater, I'm glad he did, but Slater stupidly brings Somerville down, and we win the penalty. Obviously, there's a bit of an argument between Somerville and Perot on who should take the penalty, which I didn't like, in fairness, because when Perot is on the pitch, Perot is the penalty taker. Farker's even said that in an interview a bit ago now. When Perot's on the pitch, he is the designated penalty taker. I get that Somerville is full of confidence and that he won the penalty. And I know he ended up scoring it, but that could have helped Hull. They could have had a look at that and think, God, they're arguing over penalty. Let's save this. And I'm glad just for Somerville's sake that he did score it, because if he hadn't have done, the whole ground would have just erupted in a negative way. So fair play to him. He had balls of steel. He stood up and he slots it straight down the middle to give Leeds United a very late lead in about the 87th, 88th minute. And then obviously there was 7 minutes added on at the end, and there was enough time for Leeds United to grab a third. Obviously, Hull City sent their goalkeeper up for the corner on the end of the game. It comes out, Perot plays James on the right wing. He has a look up, no keeper in the goal, on the halfway line. And it felt like a whole year had gone by from him hitting that ball to it hitting the net. I actually celebrated the third goal more than I did the second. When the penalty went in, it was just more relief. But when that third goal went in, it was just like, fuck, right, we've done this. We've done it. We've done it. And look, at this stage of the season, results are all that matters. But the performance last night, I thought, was awful. And it is worrying that we're coming up against Coventry on Saturday. I know Coventry lost yesterday at home to Cardiff. They actually scored 2 own goals, which is mad. But they are quite good at home. If we play like we did last night against Coventry, then we lose, in my opinion. So we really, really need to sort it out going into Saturday, regardless of if players are back from injury or not. We need to go out there on Saturday and just get the job done. Because we cannot afford to slip up. Cannot afford to slip up. Would you like Phillips back? No, I wouldn't, Mike. I'm actually sick of hearing this from fans. Don't get me wrong. If Phillips signed for us again, I would welcome him back. You know, he's a Leeds lad, but I don't see how he gets in our team. And yet, if we get promoted, it's about having depth. I get that. But, you know, the fee I'm seeing is 30 million. Is he worth 30 million at the minute? Absolutely not. You know, he's awful at the minute, isn't he? So, no, I wouldn't have him back, no. He's a good player, but I don't... Yeah, he wouldn't. Injuries have come at wrong time. Yeah, but at least it's, you know, it's not... It could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. Only Gruev, Nonto and Connor Roberts, really. But yeah, let's just speak about Ipswich briefly because they're just not going away. They are just not going away. I thought Southampton were the better team last night as well in their game from what I saw. Found themselves behind at home again. And they get a late winner again. And the winning goal was the spawniest goal you'll ever see. He mishits it in the first instance and then toe pokes it in. This is what I mean, guys, when I say that this promotion race is going to go down to the wire. I must admit, though, Ipswich's running is much harder than ours and Leicester's. Much harder. Ours is probably the easiest on paper. Don't get me wrong. No, none of these last 6 games will be easy. None of them. But on paper, ours is the easiest. Leicester have got a few favourable games in a row, but then they do play a few tough fixtures on the bounce. You know, Ipswich have still got to play, I believe, Norwich, Hull, Watford, Middlesbrough. Yeah, I'll just get it up on my phone now, actually, very quickly. Because they have got a very hard running, in my opinion, anyway. Let's have a look at this, shall we? Yep, so they've got Norwich on Saturday. Then midweek next week, they've got Watford. Then they've got Middlesbrough, Hull, Coventry. Then the final game of their season is against Huddersfield at home. But, you know, other than Huddersfield at home on the final day, Norwich, Watford, Middlesbrough, Hull and Coventry all back-to-back. Now, I know we keep saying it about them and they're proving us wrong, but they have to falter in those next 5. They have to. Even if it's just one of them, they have to falter. I think Norwich could potentially do us a favour on Saturday. It's an East Anglian derby at Norwich. Even if they just get a draw, you know, they have to drop points. Coventry, I think, will be an hard game for them, as it will be for us. On Saturday, we've still got to play against... Both got to play against Middlesbrough, actually. They've got to go to Hull away. The Watford game might not be, you know, easy for them. They made it hard for us. They drew with West Brom. And again, I might be clutching at straws here, but it's really going to go down to the wire, this. I'm so nervous for it. I think Southampton are done. They're absolutely done. They're 12 points off the automatics now. Even if they win their 2 games in hand, they'll still be 6 points behind. So I just don't see how they get back into it. I think Leicester, obviously, an impressive win for them against Norwich yesterday. But, I think out of the 3 teams, I think Leicester have got more of a chance of faltering just because of their recent form. It'd be funny if it's actually us and Ipswich that end up going up and Leicester in the playoffs. But yeah, guys, like I say, Ipswich are just that annoying rash that just won't go away. But hopefully Norwich can do us a favour on Saturday and give some misery to the Portman Road faithful. If Ipswich go off, I think they'll go straight back down. Yeah, probably will. Yeah. We will get across the line. Won't be easy, but I think we will. Yeah, I think so as well. I think we'll finish second. Whoever finishes top out of Ipswich and Leicester, fine by me. I think we'll finish second. Blame the injuries on the time of the international break when clubs need their best players. Yeah, exactly. The March international break just doesn't make sense. It's friendlies at the end of the day. It's not tournament. It's not a qualifier. It just doesn't make sense. Plus, no, just needs. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, 100%. Definitely, Julie. Yeah, 100%. I feel like there's been a lot of great points raised on tonight's video, guys. We're going to leave it there for this evening. I really, really do appreciate all of the love and support on tonight's live stream, and a big thank you to everyone that's got involved in the comment section as well. On the way out, though, if you haven't already, please make sure that you are smashing that like. It really does help get the stream out there to more people. Please subscribe if you are brand new and hit that notification bell. And, of course, get all your thoughts and opinions into the comment section down below. And make sure that you're checking out Josh Firth's links as well, the sponsor of the channel. The Etsy store link and Instagram link for himself will be in the description for all your football graphic design needs. And I will be back on the channel on Thursday with my predicted 11 for the Coventry game, followed by your match preview on Friday. There'll be content out on match day as well. So keep it locked at Chatting Leeds for all your Leeds United content. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you in a bit. Cheers.